would notice that I'm not quite one of them, you know, and that would be, you know, I remember working in a place and they said, at the time I'm very much about, you know, the colors and stuff and just having this marriage in colors. And someone mentioned about how the fact that my socks had matched my scarves or something like that. So of that bit of not being able to necessarily hold the median line.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
So what they're saying is that you wasn't fitting a role, perhaps?
Yeah, well, I fit the role, but there was always something a little bit different.
Okay, yeah.
That made me stick out, even when I would try to be, let's say, the chorus.
Yeah.
And fade into the background. I don't fade.
No.
Why?
And why should you? You know, so that finding...
Sometimes it'd be easier, maybe. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely times I'm actually quite shy, which is kind of coming across here. I think who's the camera on me? That on a personal way, I am quite shy. So there are a lot of times when I do want to just observe and watch, and that stimulates me and picks up, and then helps me bring forth something.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense a lot. I mean, what I find with a lot of creative people that express themselves through dress is a lot of them try to go into a corporate environment to find work, when actually they need to go in an environment where they can still express that, because the suppression creates a lot of problems. And it's sometimes better
it will,
working.
It will seep out.
It will seep out.
It's like the phrase "water wins out."
Yeah.
You know, there'll be a slow erosion, and it will come out, and all of a sudden, you know, you'll have a flood.
Exactly. Sometimes it's better to be in an environment where you're able to express the dressing, maybe in a shop or, you know, another type of career, as opposed to people just go straight into an office, and it doesn't work because they come out of a bad experience as opposed to an experience where it works for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so that's just something that keeps coming up. I keep witnessing with really fashionably expressive people. You know, what do you have a morning practice?
My general morning practice is that I friends make it whatever. That because I have a running joke with a mate of mine who calls me in the morning and then gets upset that I don't want to talk. and that is because I can't talk when I wake up.
Yeah.
Because I've learned, I was working at quite a high-powered public PR type job, and I learned that if someone talks to me before I've had a little bit of time to either meditate, to pray, to come from when I sleep, I visit, you know, and to make sure that I'm back in, you know, where I am and the surroundings and connecting back with this reality. That if someone talks to me before that it could twist my day.
Yeah.
So I tend to not want to take phone calls when I first get up. Not want to talk to people. It's annoying in the economic times where sometimes you have to take the phone call. But my morning practice is about that. Also, the libation.
Yeah.
That whole time in getting ready and getting dressed is my way of putting, not a mask, but the persona that that I am today. You know, of okay, today I'm the casual person looking like a student, so maybe I'll be in a sweatshirt and jeans and trainers and stuff. But other days, okay, I have to look the part of what I do. But it's also quite funny for me that sometimes I'm thinking, I'm looking quite normal, yeah. And then I'll go someplace and they're like, so you're an artist? And I'm like,
it seeps through, doesn't it?
How did I figure that out? So yeah, my morning practice is about, I think it's important for everybody to have a little bit of time of quiet, of reflection, and to connect to their spirits, to their angels in what do you call it, in present time.
So, makes sense, doesn't it? How do you plan your goals? So, you know, with your projects, your creative projects, how do you plan them out?
Very difficult to. A lot of it for me is in the vision. If I'm to be honest, I find it very difficult to do things if I don't envision it.
Yeah.
So that way I can kind of, I think it's also probably also with me being an actor too, but if I can imagine the role that I'm doing, what I need to bring forth to do that. In my culture, in Jamaican culture, they're very much about, you know, looking the part or becoming, you know, you must be proper for the part. You know, you know, you must have the things together to do the proper job.
Yeah.
Whatever job that is. So that I will have to make sure that. Sorry.
So your goal says you visualize first.
I visualize first the goals and then do my best to reach them and interact them and make them present.
And that is the way we create, actually, because the universe is mental anyway. Really. It's a mentalized universe, so vision is really important anyway. So you're just kind of reiterating what most people do. And after you visualize something, do you have like different steps?
It actually depends on the project. A lot of times, well, currently right now it's almost what's the word? It's diaphanous. It's quite. I call myself one of the things I do is I slipstream. So that whole thing of being multi-dimensional. And taking input and everything from the many dimensions and bring it forward. So depending on the job, there might be, you know, straight up, well, I need to contact this person and this person and that person and do that, but sometimes those things don't work. So I'm contacting, but in other bits, I'm still doing my work behind the scenes of just trying to stay creative, being, you know, really hard when you're kind of so stimulated, but being focused on what I eventually want to get.
So you kind of visualized and plan and then visualized and plan. Is that how you work? Because there has to be like a process within all that, isn't there?
There is that. And also before I wasn't so accepting of outside influences in a way.
That's what I'm trying to get at,
And so now these days I'm much more kind of leaving myself open for. It's quite funny. Lots of random things would always happen. So now, after, you know, fighting against the random coming in, now I'm still working my path, but keeping open to the randomness where that might take me.
So,
which is how I met you.
You know? Thank you. so therefore, it's allowing other people to bring something to you and going with that. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you saying, okay, I want to get to this place and I'm allowing a percentage. You're not going to sit in your head and say a percentage, but I'm allowing for maybe to come in this way, as opposed to me going out to get that particular thing. Does it make sense?
Yes, I actually would say it's a bit of both. Because, there's the steps, you have to take these steps. But a lot of times I've taken those steps and things haven't worked. And then something completely out of left field has come and just erased all those steps and brought me to where I wanted to be in the first place. So it's about being open to both. But still keeping with those steps, because there is that phrase about a prepared mind.
Would you like to say it for people that don't know what it means?
Let me try to remember. Where if you keeping open to, paraphrasing greatly, I can't remember the exact phrase, but keeping open to, you know, the gifts of the universe in a way, but also keeping yourself prepared, because, you know, the universe is not necessarily going to help you if you've not done any work.
That's right,
so keeping yourself going, so that when the opportunity comes, you can run with it, as opposed to an opportunity coming going, oh my God.
Basically what you're saying is there is, you know, with everything there is a structure.
Yeah.
No matter how much things are random, we are multi-dimensional people. But I think that for you probably see it as this is what I just tap into, but there probably is a, like you said, when you jump deeper, there's a process you actually use.
Yeah, there is always a through line. I call it, in terms of music, is the coming back to one.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a beat like, that bump is one.
Yeah.
So to be able to come back to one, if you remember who you are, what I tell my either students or people who I've coached or anything like that is, and especially because I used to work, or still do quite a lot of things in the nightclub industry, always remember one.
Yeah.
Always remember to come back to one.
That's the foundation, the grounding.
That's the grounding.
Excellent, yeah.
Come back to your grounding, and then you can, you know, leapfrog and do everything else. You know, but if you come back to the bed, you can bounce off it again. Yeah. But you got to come back to the bed and rest at some point.
Yeah.
So
really, that's a really important key, because I think people that are going to be watching this video and trying to take notes, they want to know what anchors people that are able to go out there and create and show their art.
Always come back to one, because also in that sort of sense of self, which I think that for a lot of creatives, that's one of the things that is an issue, because people lose a sense of self. And I can't tell you how to get it or whatever, but that's where the intuition will tell you, this is me, this is good for me, this doesn't feel so right. And then once you start listening to that, you'll know how to come back to one. Perfect. So if you're in a situation, and sometimes you'll be scared, but it's an exciting fear, and then you know you're okay, because you're surrounded by the angels and everything, and or whatever, God, spirit, you know, whoever you call. But then you can be centered and grounded, and able to come back to the one, and then to leap off again.
How do you nourish and exercise the self so that it can support all this spiritual energy coming into it?
Well, I've had a...
It's the week that made me laugh thinking.
I had a major accident away, and that I'm in recovery from. And so one of the things is about, that has been a new thing for me, of learning, where I was just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, go! You know? Disable. I was doing the Thunderbolt before him, but you know, that kind of constantly moving, and the circumstances made me stop. And that's what I'm saying about coming back to one, because of losing, not necessarily losing self, I still have that sense of self, but I was doing too much over my own body saying, slow down here. And trust me, the universe will slow your butt down. If you don't listen, you know, the Jamaican phrase, in my ear will feel. So, and,
that's so true.
And it did literally slow me down. So now my process is of finding, trying to find a medium, in the sense of, you know, from 0 to 60. Let me try to get to 45. And let me try to figure out how to come back to 20. You know, and so with the with exercise, keeping myself limber, Pilates, some Pilates, yoga when I can. Just even I couldn't walk for a bit, so being able to just take a walk and testing my strength and stuff. And, you know, and as a girl who loves her heels, you know, strengthening up my feet so I can walk in my heels sometimes, you know, even if I can't do, you know, a 4 or 5 hour anymore, maybe, you know, I can do a great, fierce 10 minutes.
That's right, fabulous and fierce.
Fierce.
That's my motto now.
So, yeah, that's my process also about, I've realized how much genetically I'm not really westernized. So having to deal with food and the intake of stuff that actually nourishes my body, mind, and spirit.